not supposed to be in there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Hill Homestead. So this weekend we are expecting a snowstorm, and normally I don't trust the weatherman, but he might be right on this one. The snow flurries are beginning to happen now, and there are still a few things that I've got to get done before I have to go out and plow some snow. So we'll walk you through how we get ready for snowstorms here on the homestead. With us doing snow plowing at work, meant that every night this week I had to stay a little bit longer and do our snowstorm prep work, as far as getting all of our customers lined up and snow stakes out and making sure the trucks and all of our equipment was ready for this snow removal. And I think the snow has finally decided to start falling. So we got to get chores done, and we've got to get this farm in order before this stuff starts sticking to the ground and everything's under the snow. So come with me, let's go knock this stuff out. So first and foremost, we already went to the grocery store because everybody knows you got to have bread and milk for a snowstorm. Just kidding, because my wife really doesn't drink milk, and I think I have a intolerance for lactose in the last couple of years. My stomach does not anyway. So, but I did, unfortunately, go to the grocery store when I was very thirsty and I was very hungry, which is worse than people running to get toilet paper when the world shut down a few years ago. And a little side note on that, of course, like I said, I went in there hungry and thirsty, so that's just a bad combination. But I walked out of there with an armful of groceries that cost me $200. 10 years ago, $200 would have filled up my truck bed. But we won't talk about that. After grocery shopping, I then went and got some feed. We needed some hog feed, so I got a ton of hog feed that'll last us further than the snowstorm will last, I would hope. And when I went to refill the barns with hog feed, I went ahead and brought us up our 6th load of wood for the year and filled up the wood rack. Another thing that we have to do is get some bedding down for the pigs. I gave the cows a fresh bale of hay last night, so they should be well taken care of through this snowstorm, and if not, I still have another bale in the barn to supply them with. something I forgot last night when I was getting the wood out of the wood barn was the fact that with that new barn shelter thing, roof that I built a couple videos ago, those pigs really don't have any windbreak other than some posts that they have laying behind their pen. So I'm gonna take this extra bale that we have here and I'm gonna kind of spread it down, something they can bury themselves in, kind of roll around, and hope to keep warm, because I don't think we have any spare lumber around here to build up any walls right now. So that's definitely something that I'm gonna need to add to the list.
Stop it. Stop it. Help me out.
Mr. Supervisor Bowser here wasn't a whole lot of help in assisting that time, more of a nuisance.
Ow.
With getting home a little bit later here recently, I hadn't been able to do much stuff in the evenings. You know, Tuesday, because we did have off Monday, but Tuesday through up until yesterday. But yesterday I had to go get feed, had to get to the feed store before it closed. So therefore I was able to get home with a touch of daylight left, and I was able to put all that feed into the garage as well as get our wood stacked. So that leaves me with a few things left this morning as far as getting everybody ready for this snowstorm. And I kind of wish I would have started a little bit earlier, because it's like a sleety rain, but it's sticking to the driveway and the yard, kind of like snow, almost like a hail, but like super teeny tiny pieces of hail. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but we need to hurry up. Something I will say about this type of weather, you can kind of see it forming on the ground behind me. Anyway, something I do like about this type of weather compared to the warmer, you know, like 40s type of weather, is the fact that at least with this weather, it freezes everything. It's kind of a love-hate relationship, because the ground is solid. If I need to do any type of tractor work as far as hauling something back and forth, I can do that with no problem. But when it's warm, it's a muddy mess. Right now I can get inside that pig pen, but last week when it was about 40, I would have lost my boot in there. So this type of weather is okay as far as the mud goes. It's bad as far as their water source goes, because it freezes up our line and we can't get any water to them, which is kind of why I'm thinking we're gonna go insulate this water hydrant right now. And well, the hoses are already frozen with a little bit of water in them, but we're gonna unplug them and hope to drain the hoses while the snow melts later on this week. They all do have full troughs of water, fresh water, to get them through the next couple of days. The only ones I'm really concerned about as far as their water source goes are these down here, because they do go through that, I think it's like 100 gallons. No, that's not accurate at all. Probably 50 gallons of water fairly quickly, being 7 pigs. So that's my biggest concern about this type of weather. Now, a few years ago in January, we ran into a spot where our water line burst. So we had to rig something up and we never got around to reconnecting all of our water lines. So we have one main water source here on the property, and we run water hoses to each one of our animals, which is, if you kind of know our property in these videos by now, you would see that we kind of keep our animals in close proximity because it's as far as the water hose will stretch as far as the water lines that we do have. But the problem that we're having with our water source right now is the spigot does not self-drain. So I need to wrap that thing in insulation and get it temporarily covered with something. So as far as getting down here and unplugging the hoses before they froze, like the plan was, it didn't happen. The hoses are frozen to the spigot, so I guess I could go get a buddy heater and try to thaw them out. Might do that. But the plan here is, as you can probably see it in here, I had originally started digging to do this a long time ago, got sidetracked. So what I'm gonna do is wrap this pipe up in this insulation the best way I can, and that way it kind of hopefully prevents it freezing on into my house and freezing up my water lines. We're gonna leave our water on a drip and hopefully keep it moving. But we'll get started on this, and I'm gonna cover it up with that barrel right there, just for the sake of the snow laying on top of it. If I can get the hoses to cooperate and go inside the barrel as well. So looking at this now, there's no way that barrel's gonna work because it kind of comes out of the hole and goes this way. And with the hoses being frozen, the barrel's not just gonna go over it. So I'm gonna have to find some other temporary source of coverage for this insulation here, and just kind of lay it over top of it and hope it doesn't get crushed in the snow. Just kind of want to keep that insulation dry as possible, and hope that our water lines don't freeze. I do have some nosy friends though. They came over to see what I was doing. Cows are some of the nosiest animals. And as far as our cows go, we've been certainly fortunate to have the herd of calves we do. I call them all calves. Some of them are like 2 years old. I call them calves anyway. But we're certainly fortunate because of how the demeanor of our herd is. They're super calm, they're affectionate, let you love on them. They're kind of like little puppy dogs, but the downside is sometimes they listen like little puppy dogs. And so when they get out, they just want to play, and you can't get them back in. But nonetheless, very good herd of calves we got out there as far as their demeanor goes, and in my opinion, as far as they look. So as far as coverage, I did find this piece of metal tin down there. Metal tin, whatever, you guys know what I'm saying. And I'm gonna cover up that. I think it's heavy enough to where We're not getting any winds, it's just snow, and shouldn't go anywhere, but should keep it covered and dry. Here on the farm, our wood stove is kind of like our saving grace, which is why we stock wood. We've never taken it out of our house, even though we do have central air, and here's why. So we don't have a water bill, we have well water. So the only bill we have is electric as far as utilities go for our house, and you know, TV, yada yada. But as far as running our household, our electric bill is one of the only things we have. And the problem with that is if the electric goes out, we do lose our heat, we do lose our water, but we always have this backup source of wood. So that way, when our electric stove goes out, we can still cook on our wood stove. It'll get hot enough, we can fry something up. We're not gonna starve, and we're not gonna freeze. May have to use the bathroom outside, but because we can't flush the toilets. But other than that, that is why we keep our wood stove. Our wood stove can be a saving grace to us. And so far we have not lost power. Knock on wood, crossing fingers that we don't. And hopefully it continues that way. So I'm gonna go in here, load up the house full of wood. That way Des does not have to come out in the snow and in order to keep the wood stove rolling. And we're gonna watch some snowfall until I have to go out and plow some snow. I left here yesterday at about 4 o'clock. It's about what time the snow stopped, and it was a wet and heavy snow. We got about 5 to 6 inches, and I was out plowing snow with the guys from work until about 4:15 this morning is when I got home. I was able to swing through our driveway and go ahead and get it cleared off so that we could do anything that we needed to today. It is warm today. As far as snow goes, it's sitting at about 42 degrees, I think, right now. So this stuff should melt pretty quick and make everything a muddy mess again. So that was my night last night. I was able to fall asleep right away, thankfully, and sleep in a little bit this morning. But our snow kind of prep here on the homestead ended up being successful. All pigs, all cows are fed alive, well, and warm, and our water line did not freeze, so I call that a success. And our power stayed on. All good things here on the homestead for the first snowstorm of the year. And you know, it's hit and miss, so who knows, this could be our one and only snowstorm for the year. But everyone's safe and sound, and I think that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us and going through this with us. Hopefully you guys maybe learned something today, but it was a pretty simple and straight to the point kind of video. So again, thanks for hanging out with us. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.